Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is a story time. So, I recently went to Chicago for a Comic Con where I got to meet a bunch of really cool celebrities, hang out with some great friends, and really have a pretty awesome time while I was there. However, the travel experience, yeah, definitely not awesome. So instead of clogging up all of the Ace Comic Con vlogs that I was putting out, which you can check out now, I wanted to keep those vlogs a little bit more fun, about the positivity, about the experience, and thought I would go ahead and do a separate story time because there is plenty to rant and rave about here, okay? So this story time is all about my horror story, traveling to and around Chicago and Rosemont, Illinois. Thursday morning, my flight supposed to leave at 5:50 a.m. I know, super early flight, but listen, I'm a broke bee, especially dealing with all this Comic-Con and all these photo ops and stuff. Child, I needed the cheapest flight, so off early in the morning I went. I'm gonna be honest, when I leave that early in the morning, my mindset is that I don't need to be there a full 2 hours beforehand. I don't need to arrive at the airport at 3:50 a.m. That seems excessive and crazy. But I still plan to arrive early. So I'm using Lyft because Lyft is my personal preferred rideshare company. So I call the Lyft up, or text the Lyft, or reserve the Lyft, or whatever you want to call it, at 4 a.m. And they get here maybe around 4:10 or so. So, still plenty of time to get over to the airport, which is about a 35 minute drive, especially this time of day, there's no traffic. However, the caveat is I always pick the shared, which has its pluses and minuses, I suppose. But again, your boy is broke, so I'm trying to save every dollar I can. So right off the bat, I get into the car and this driver is giving me weird vibes. As soon as we're taking off, he's kind of asking me questions, but I can't understand him that well, and he's kind of like mumble talking. Then, not even a block away from my house, in the corner of my eye, I see him like doing a whole lot of this, just like rubbing his head all over. And he does this the entire drive, y'all. He is just sitting there like, so which airline are you on? Oh, yeah. Okay. Which one? Which terminal is that? It was weird and ridiculous. That's like sign one that stuff is going down. So we work our way slowly to the freaking highway. Get on, and it alerts that we will be picking someone up along the way. Now, this is way off of the highway that pretty much leads right to the airport. So once we're on the highway, I don't know what this is, but now he's still driving with his hand, and instead of just rubbing his head, he's playing with something here. It's like clicking down here. So he's just like clicking this thing, kind of looking down at it, clicking it, then, back to rubbing his head, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? What is wrong with this guy? I didn't know how to get in the back of his car, actually. Like, I didn't know where the door handles were. I know, stupid moment on my own part. So I was in the front seat, like, next to this the whole time. That's about, like, 4:20, maybe 4:30, when we get off the highway to go and get this other person. We get off, we go a little ways. Of course, this guy's like, I don't know, decent way off the highway. Yay for ride shares with the shared ride program. We wait and we wait. This guy, I guess, had went the complete wrong direction and the opposite way of where he was supposed to go to meet us. But he finally gets there and we get in. We take off. This guy is right pretty much back to doing all of this. Like, ugh. And we get moving. But then the GPS loses its signal completely. Like, the Lyft app itself stops working. The signal is lost. It will not work. He's trying to get it up on his freaking GPS on his phone to work it that way. And the guy in the backseat's just like, dude, I can get you to the highway. Like, let me just tell you how to get there. So the guy kind of starts to listen, except when the other passenger's like, okay, so up here you're going to want to take a right. We get to the sign, the stop sign. He's still sitting there fiddling around for a couple minutes with his stupid phone, and then he takes a left instead of the right that he was told to take. Monk, the guy is like, whoa, whoa, right. We do like, there's a car on this other side too. We do a flip. Like the guy is like, oh, like spinning the wheel. So we come back around and end up going straight from the spot we were at. So we didn't even go to the right. He like flips all the way back around and continues just going straight. I don't know. But finally he decides to listen to the guy a little bit and start taking direction. But at this point, we've already wasted, I don't even know how much time here. So finally, this crazy driver has like found his way back to the road. So as we're going down the highway, not only is he rubbing his head and then periodically like messing around with this, now he's messing with the phone just incessantly. Even when the Lyft app comes back on, like he reboots it before we get on the highway, he's still messing with it even after we're past that point. But on the highway, his speed is insane. So this highway, I believe, has about a 70 mile per hour speed limit or so. He'll get up to 65, cruising at a decent enough pace. And then just gradually, it's not like he slams the brake or anything, will slow down to around 40 miles per hour. Because I keep checking that speedometer because I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then he'll kind of progressively get back up to 65. And then he would just like slow down and chill out at about 40 miles per hour. And he repeated this process at least 3 times once we got back onto the highway. At this point, I'm noticing the time. I'm noticing I might be screwed at this point. I'm going to have to run Amazing Grace style as soon as I get into that freaking airport. So he drops me finally at like, I don't know, 5:10, 5:15. Even with the other passenger, should have taken maybe 45 minutes tops. And the moment he picked me up overward, it took him over an hour to get me to that flippin' airport because he was lost. He was slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, speeding up. I don't know, cracked out of his mind, coming through off of a high, going through withdrawals. I don't too much know. Tending to that damn lice on his head. I wasn't caring. I was just over it. I run in, I try to get on to a flight. I tell the people like, hey, my flight leaves at 5:50. It's now like 5:15. What can we do? So I run up. They get me going. Then I get to the Frontier lady. And she just is like, oh no, you're too late. I was like, oh my gosh, please. Is there any way you can, we can just go for it? Like, let's go. I will ask the people at the security, please, can I get through here? I'm gonna miss my flight. I will run as fast as I can. And she's like, no, there's no way. You have to get into that line and rebook. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I get into the line, wait around to rebook my flights, get up there. Thankfully, they can rebook me for the next morning at the same time. But now I have wasted a whole day. So this cost me getting to like do VIP check-in, this at the convention, and that turned out to be a hot mess later. But this also just kind of cost me an extra day with my friend Echo. Oh god. And it cost me the money for like a round trip Lyft that I wouldn't have had to pay. I'm like, oh, so I get my flight booked, check into that flight, check in, since we're now within 24 hours, and at this point, I decide, you know what, I'm just going to take this stupid train back. Like, I'm not messing around with the Lyft right now, I just can't deal with it. And I get on the train, and I take it back to Union Station, and then from Union Station, I have to walk all over the place trying to catch another Lyft to take me home because I can't quite figure it out. At this point, it's like snowing, it's freezing. I'm annoyed, the whole ordeal. But I get back home, it's whatever. So of course, on my train ride back on Twitter, I tweet, Lyft, hot mess, This was terrible. My driver was on crack and got me to the airport late. Great. So Lyft contacts me and it's like, so what happened? And I obviously let them know through DM. And they're just basically like, oh, okay, since you rated him 1 star, you'll never get him again. And I'm like, well, it was a really uncomfortable experience. I missed my flight because he was like doing U's and circles in the middle of frickin' traffic stops and took decades to get to the damn airport, way longer than it ever should have taken. And they're like, oh no, since you got dropped off, there will be no refunds. And since you used a shared, you already got a discount. Really, Lyft? They're like, did we answer everything? No, you didn't. 0 stars on the conversation. So now, I'm chilling out, doing what I gotta do, just kind of relaxing the rest of that day, whatever. Then, Friday morning, I decide, Larry, don't cut it so close this time. You never know what kind of driver you're gonna get. And I called the little Lyft on over at 3:30. This time round, I get there at about 4. Get there at about 4 with my flight leaving at about 5:50. Well, Frontier's agents here in Denver are terrible. Like, there's always a huge ass line, so it takes a long time to get through there. I'm not really worried, not really caring. Security doesn't take very long to get through. And I have time to kill just kind of like chilling at the airport this day. We get on the plane. Guess what? That day, the day I'm there plenty early, been waiting around, the flight is delayed like 45 minutes. No, of course not the day that I'm late to the airport. It's the day that I'm plenty early. Go figure. So I'm up on the plane, flying whoop 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 off to Chicago. Land over there. It's great. I'm kind of just looking through my stuff, looking through my email, and I see that I have an email from Lyft telling me that my card was declined. I was like, what? So I'm on the mobile chat, just kind of like text chat with my bank. I tell her from the bank, and I just say, hey, Lyft is saying that they didn't get paid, and I don't know why. I just looked at my bank balance. I'm plenty fine for that. The bank teller says, oh, that was marked as fraud. I'll go ahead and, take that off. It won't be marked as fraud, and, should be able to use it and get it paid. I said, great. So also, while you're in there, I'm going to be in Chicago. Can you please just mark it on my account so that other stuff doesn't get blocked? I don't get fraud flags everywhere because I'm shopping in Chicago. Yes, will do. I'll get that on there as well. Cool. I think it's all great. Taken care of. O'Hare's airport is such a hot flippin' mess. I don't even know where the hell I'm going or what the hell I'm doing. I already knew there was so much walking just to get around in O'Hare. But, oh my god, it's a hot mess. Every time I go to another airport like that, particularly O'Hare, I'm so much more thankful for DIA because, woof, I just prefer our layout infinitely. But you have to get on a bus to get from one terminal to the next. I mean, it's a mess. So I contact my hotel because I know they have a free shuttle, get instruction on where to go, and I misunderstood the instruction and get lost. Thankfully, still get there in time. Yeah, it was a fun ride wandering around the airport with my stupid bags. I get there, they shuttle me on over to the hotel. Or I should say motel. Let me just be very clear. Motel. Ghetto motel. Alright, y'all. Like I said, budget. So I get there. They tell me for early check-in, because at this point, I get over there about 12:30, I'd say. And check-in at this crazy place wasn't until 4. So, yeah. They tell me early check-in costs $35. This is while I was on the phone with them. They tell me this. I say, great. You know what? I don't care. I need to get into my hotel. I want to kind of chill out before I have to start getting ready for my pictures that night, Friday night. So I get there, and the guy is like, oh, well, we don't actually have any rooms open. So, here's all these things. You can go explore Chicago. Here's how you get there. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not. I'm just going to chill here somewhere. Because I know. Usually they tell you there's nothing available now. It will become available before 4 p.m. and I cannot be waiting that long. So I go upstairs, I kind of just am chilling out, whatever. Having a cup of coffee, a little bowl of cereal, that fun jazz. And the guy's like, hey, I've got a room. And this is about like 1:20, as I thought. They'd had one much earlier. So I get down there. They mixed up my room. They gave me like a 1 king bed instead of 2 queen beds. My friend Echo was coming to stay with me. Thankfully, this guy got me into a proper room that he said he just reserved on his own. I don't know. I don't know. But whatever. They got my room right. It was cool. So I chose to pay at the hotel. I went through hotels.com, did the option instead of paying at that moment because I was like, oh, I don't have all that much money right now. I'll pay when I get to the hotel. Great. Should have been fine. The guy's really cool. He tells me, you know what? I'm going to say that you just already had paid when you got here, and I'm not going to charge you the $35 fee. Yes. I was like, oh my goodness. Yes. This is what I'm talking about. I hand him the card. Declined. Alright. So go on. Walk away. Now, I'll be back. She'll be back. Get on the phone with this damn bank. The woman earlier was highly mistaken of what was happening. My whole account had been flagged for fraud. So the guy's like, let me go ahead and go through these different charges and see if they're fraud or if they're not fraud. Right off the bat, the first one, I have no idea what it is. And I say, oh, I don't know what that is. Something about tools or something. And I'm like, oh no, definitely not. But since I say that, they automatically are like, okay, so your account is under fraud. I'm like, okay, so what do I do? It's like, well, you either have to go get another card printed right now, or we mail you one. And your card has to be turned off by the time we hang up on this call. It cannot be on any longer. What? So I don't have a credit card. I just have my debit card through my bank, y'all. That's where all of my money is. That's where all of my funds are. And I'm in Chicago. So I tell that guy this. I'm like, listen, I am in Chicago. I'm from Denver, which we had already established earlier in the conversation. And I don't have my car. I am at the hotel right now trying to pay for it. You're telling me to get to a branch. You looked it up. The nearest branch to me is a 35-minute drive. How am I supposed to do that when I don't have a car? So I can't order a Lyft. I can't order an Uber. You kind of need a credit card. I can't get a taxi. I can't even get on a flippin' bus right now because I have no money. Period. And he's just like, well, I can't leave this card on. But then he says you can still do Venmo and you can still do PayPal. Doesn't really help me all that much, but I think, okay, maybe there's some sort of way I can work this. My friend coming down, I don't know. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I just need to get somewhere, you know, to just chill out for a second until Echo gets down here and maybe I can figure it out then. So I ask him, listen, I know all this is happening, but can you unfreeze it and just let me do this one transaction for the hotel on it right now? I need to pay the hotel. What in the world? He keeps me on hold, waiting to talk to his supervisor for like 30-40 minutes. It is insane. This is after we've already been talking on the phone for a while. But finally, he comes down and says, look, so what we can do is, while I'm on the phone with you right now, talking with you, whatever, we'll open the card, unfreeze it, so you can get to an ATM, get out as much money as you need to go to a branch or whatever and get a card. I'm like, okay, great. Go downstairs, ask the guy, do you take cash? Yay for booking a ghetto, janky old motel. He says cash is king, of course. Great. And locate the nearest ATM. This hotel guy was very nice, but he was also kind of a mess. He explains to me the one next door that never works, and then one who knows where that's a couple blocks away or whatever. So I just run next door, get out most all of my money. I leave about $200 in there. Take everything else out of the account. Come back, pay for the hotel, get my key, get in there. Fun times. Still on the phone, talking now to a new woman who is like the fraud specialist because I actually have a dispute that I need to make because one of the charges went through before they flagged my flipping account. So there were 2 fraud charges. One about tools and then the one I'm disputing now. We go on, she tells me it's about a freaking escort service, and I'm like, yeah, that is definitely fraud. That's the one y'all definitely should have caught and not let go through. But now here I am, in a different city. I have no card. I have no access, basically, for anything like Uber or Lyft. Thank God my friend is coming with a car. But also, for parking, for anything, no card. My friend gets down there, we zhuzh up, get ready, head on over to the convention. Child, this is when missing that Thursday flight kicked me in the ass. Because Friday was insane. The VIP check-in line, I was in there for well over an hour before I was able to wiggle my way up because I was like missing the stuff I had purchased. So, if I had just been able to check in on Thursday, it would have been great. The night goes by, cool, whatever. Me and my friend get back to the hotel. We're now in this little motel room, which has like metal box spring covers around the bottom of the bed. I mean, it's janky, y'all. There's nothing else to it. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden we hear this like high pitched, just buzzing, like, and it will not stop. So we start searching, like, where the hell is that coming from? And we search and we search. Finally, we pinpoint it's coming from the bathroom, and the only way to stop that noise is to flush the toilet. Like, that toilet hadn't been in use in I don't even know how long, and it just started beeping out of the clear blue sky. And that's what we have to deal with for the whole time we're there. It's just randomly that buzzing popping up and us having to run and flush the toilet. What the hell? What the hell is the purpose of that? The rest of the weekend, it goes by, cool, awesome, copacetic, whatever. Now, Monday is the day I'm supposed to fly on back on over to Denver, Colorado. So my friend is all ready to drive me on down to O'Hare at about 6 p.m. My flight leaves at like 8:50. So, plenty of time. We're driving on down, and then we get to the airport. And let me just say, the signage around O'Hare is also a disaster. This frickin' GPS leads us into a $40 a day parking establishment. And we're just like, what the hell? Why is this GPS bringing us into here when we told it the terminal that we needed? So, we're driving around. It takes us like 10 minutes just to finally get to the flippin' drop-off area. But we do, and I get there like 7:10 or so. This airport, Frontier, has zero line, like literally nothing. Now I'm wearing a Chris Hemsworth shirt, much like a Chris Hemsworth shirt I'm wearing right now. And I get through security pretty quickly, at least, decently fast, that is, with some kind of snarky folks around me. As I'm going through the line, the TSA agent, I should say, is like, oh my gosh, he was here last night. And I was like, oh, I know, I met him, I hugged him. She's like, no, like here. I'm like, oh, why didn't I fly out last night? So I get through, it's all great. So it's already this late, past 7 p.m., and I haven't eaten, and I was starving. I was so flippin' hungry. It's like, I don't know, 7:45 at this point. I don't know. I'm roaming around the terminal. I go up, I go down, I'm reading menus, I'm trying to find something, see what's good. Nothing is really catching my eye, so I just kind of go to where my gate is going to be. There's literally nothing over there. And so, I decide to call my grandma and just kind of check in with her, see how she's doing, kind of tell her about my time. I realized I still hadn't bought a couple things that I wanted to get for folks, so I head on back over to the terminal. And I'm walking around, browsing around, trying to figure out, what can I at least snack on? I need a soda, I need something to snack on it, desperately. So I'm looking around, I find the little gifts I want to buy after browsing one store. I hop on over to another store, they don't have it. I have to pop onto another store, see what they've got. Until finally, I'm still talking to my grandmother this whole time. And I have completely and totally lost track of time. Like an idiot. I finally grab like this bag of popcorn and a soda, and I'm going to check out, and I see that it's 8:35. the gates close 15 minutes before your departure time. My time was, I believe it was 8:56. The gates close at 8:41, and it is now 8:35. So I get through, I pay. I start running, like literal sprinting across this terminal. Of course, there are clogs and people and I can't get around and these slow ass people. I am there. I look at my clock. It is 8:42. And the door is closed. There is no one in sight, no workers. I am running around. I see these two other kind of workers sitting there. I'm like, please, is there anything? I don't know. I don't think you work at this part. And she's like, well, what happened? And they're like, okay, well, they were definitely calling for that. So the guy employee convinces the female employee to go up and try to talk to the woman to see if, she may be able to help me any which way. At this point, it had already pounded on the door, everything. So finally, the woman that is working check-in comes out. I run up and I'm like, look, I was literally 1 to 2 minutes late. I know, is there any way I can get on this flight? And she's like, well, it's actually been several minutes. I'm like, yeah, bitch, because you were, I don't know where you were, but clearly you weren't here. Yeah, a couple minutes have passed since you came back out. He says, let me check and see if they've done their weight or whatever, balance, I don't know. And if they have, there's nothing I can do, I'm sorry. They have, of course. So Thursday was the first ever time I've ever, in my entire life, missed a flight. And now here we are Monday trying to get back, and I miss another flight. Only this time, completely my fault. Only myself to blame. I go up, I say, okay, what can I do now? What do I do? She gives me a number to call. She says, you can go up to the agent. She says, or just give this number a call. It'll be easy. Just call them, and you have to rebook. Okay, right. So I go, I call that number. I get this woman. I say, okay, I missed my flight. What do I do? She says, okay, since they've already marked it that you missed your flight, it's going to be $119 fee. My jaw drops. What? Is there any way? I'm asking, is there any way that you can waive this fee? Is there any way that we can get around it just once? I don't have the $119. I have $101 in cash. The other $200 or so is on my card. My card is inaccessible. Inaccessible. She says, no, there's no other way. There's nothing I can do. The next flight is at 5 o'clock and 5:25 tomorrow morning. So you have to call by midnight tonight. You have to get your flight, or you're gonna lose the money you have on your current flight. I call up my friend and tell her, hey, I missed my flight. Can I Venmo you the cash from my bank account and use your credit card to pay this? Of course, my friend is awesome. She's like, yes. I Venmo her the money. She gets it, posts it to her account. Great. Then I call the number back. She sends me pictures of her cards. We're good to go. Call that number back. Get this guy. He seems real confused. He tells me $119. But then we get through further into the conversation, and he says to me, well, I have to go talk to my manager to try to get this done. Cool. He comes back after being all this time on the phone with him and that first woman and says to me, my manager won't approve it. We don't have any notes on here from the Frontier agents at the airport, so she won't approve it, and I can't get you on a flight. What? I say, well, then why did the woman up here tell me to just call this number? Then, she didn't say I had to go check in or do anything with the people here on site. I was trying to avoid going to the front because I didn't really want to re-go through the check-in process. Didn't want to go through security again or go back out there. But he says, nope, you gotta go to the Frontier desk there. I can do nothing more for you. So all this time I just wasted. I head on out to the Frontier desk. I start talking to this woman. She looks and says, what shows here you boarded your flight? I say, well, here I am. No, I didn't board the flight. I don't know what that is. She's saying, and she just is baffled as to why did they check you in? I don't get it. I don't know. I just need to get on my flight tomorrow, please. Now I'm more worried though as she's going through this because I just have a picture of my friend's card. Over the phone, they're just going to take the numbers or whatever. Now, you know, they're going to want to swipe a card or something. And I'm like, oh my God, don't let them ask. Don't let them ask. We get through. This woman cannot get it to go because it had checked me into the flippin' flight and said the flight is closed and cannot get me off to get me on another one. So her manager takes over. She also is trying everything she can to sideswipe, get around this craziness because they checked me in on the flight, checked that I was in my seat, even like hit me to be green. Apparently, checked some rando into my spot. I don't know. Finally, this amazing woman gets me onto my flight. And guess what? Doesn't charge me $119. All that hoopla about, even if I want to, sir, I would really love to help you, but even if I want to, I really want to help. I really wish I could waive this fee, but I can't. Okay, well then why did this agent right here not even bring the fee up and easily did it with none? From there, I just go and I chill out on my laptop, on the phone with my friend Teresa for the rest of the night. First ever time staying in the airport overnight. Got my flight, and then I just get home. No real hassles from there. So then, to cap it all off, with just a cherry on top, though, I've never redeemed money off of Venmo. So my friend sent me the money I had Venmoed to her. Sent it on back because obviously we didn't need to use it. I didn't know you had to transfer money from Venmo back to your bank account. So it was just sitting there. And I had a bill come through for $120 that I no longer had in my bank account and got an overdraft fee. So it was a hot mess. I don't need to be traveling for some time because what in the hell? What in the hell? It was just a hot mess. It was the craziest, most insane experience I've ever had traveling. I now have a new credit card. I have all the money from Venmo into my account. It's all been worked out. It's all good now. But wow, what an experience. And I just had to share it with y'all. So that's it. That's my horror travel story from Denver to Chicago and all the way back. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like these kind of story times, let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. Also, share with me some of your travel horror stories as well. I really would like to hear them. Let's all groan together. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.